I do want to talk about my college football playoff predictions. I do this every week. And I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone by doing this. I'm not trying to act like I'm this genius by doing college football playoff predictions every week. This is for me to track how teams are trending. And I think this is something that is very useful for anyone to do, because what it does is it kind of puts guardrails on teams and how they're going to perform throughout the season. So I just update, and I actually forgot to do it last week. So I had week 4, week 3, week 2, week 1, and then my initial college football playoff predictions from back in August. I forgot to post them last week, which I apologize. I did write them down on my sheet. I just didn't post them last week. I just forgot. So here's my college football playoff predictions after week 6. I have Ohio State as my number 1 team. I think the defense is legit. I think they are a team that is probably going to coast through the regular season. The Penn State game now, which was going to be perhaps their toughest test, is now looking like a walkover. We'll see how they fare against Michigan. That's obviously been a bugaboo for them in prior years, but they look like the best team in college football. They definitely look the best defense in college football right now. I don't know how good Julian Sayin is, but that defense is legit, and they've got all the weapons in the world, and Ryan Day is kind of figuring it out. So it's impressive right now. I've got Miami too. They've overcome all the obstacles early in the season. The rest of their schedule is super soft. They're going to coast to the ACC championship game and probably a top 3 seed in the CFP. I've got Bama as my SEC champion. I've got him as the number 3 seed. I think the seeding could change if Bama keeps winning, because I think Bama finishes in front of Miami. If Bama goes 11-1 and Miami goes 12-0, I think Bama actually has a higher seed because of the SEC over the ACC. The ACC is really bad this year. The other conference champion I have is the 11 seed, Texas Tech. They look like the best team in that conference, albeit that conference is wide freaking open. Anyone can win that conference this year. But right now, Texas Tech looks like the best team heading into Week 7. Oregon, Georgia, A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Indiana, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's schedule is cake, and they've got some nice wins on their resume. I think Georgia Tech is going to be – I think the ACC will get 2 this year, just like last year. And I think Georgia Tech probably going to go 11-1 and probably going to play Miami in the ACC championship game. Probably going to lose, but I do think 11-1 with a loss to Miami in the ACC title game, I think that gets them in. I've got UNLV as my group of 5. This UNLV team hasn't impressed me, but they keep winning games. And in the group of 5, if you win games, you're going to make the college football playoff. Now, does that mean they're going to win a game in the college football playoff? No, they're going to be a double-digit dog to, I don't know, what is it? It'll be the 5-12 to Georgia, and they'll get their ass kicked in that game. But they'll make the field. Good for Dan Mullen. This program has it has a moxie to them. Again, I'm in Vegas, so I have a unique connection to them. I'm able to interact with some of their staff members on a regular basis, and they know that they're not the most talented team in college football, or even in the group of 5, maybe even in the Mountain West. But they have an edge to them. And Calandria is a tough kid, the quarterback. He's gritty, and their defense is playing well enough to get them across the finish line in these games. And until they lose, they're the only undefeated team, I think, in the group of 5 that's legit. Memphis. I think Memphis has a shot as well. But right now, I'll put UNLV in that spot. Again, subject to change, obviously, as these games go on. Right now, UNLV stringing together wins. So I had them from week. So if you go scroll all the way back up, they were my original group of 5 prediction back in August. So maybe I'm a little stubborn sticking with the Rebels, but they haven't lost. So who am I to argue? I did a little update, a little text update. Right, I think last year it was unique. The SEC only got 2 at-large teams last year, Texas and Tennessee. Big Ten got 3, Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State. I'll get to Penn State in a minute. But this year kind of feels like we're going to reverse that, right? I think the SEC might get 4. Right now I've got 4 in my field, Georgia, A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee, in terms of at-large berths, right? I think that's kind of how the power dynamic shakes out. How many at-large berths are you getting in a 12-team field with 4 automatic qualifiers and a group of 5 automatic? Which means there's only 7 at-large berths, right? Last year, Notre Dame got 1. You had the Big Ten get 3. SEC only got 2. ACC 1. ACC, I think, still going to get the 1. I think the Big Ten maybe gets two. Maybe gets two. Right now, I have two Big Ten teams in the field outside of the champion, Oregon and Indiana. We'll see what happens in that game this week. Huge game in Eugene this week between Indiana and Oregon. You got to downgrade Oregon, too. Like, I had Oregon as my Big Ten champion, but you've got to downgrade Oregon based on the Penn State loss. I don't make the rules. That's the way it works. Penn State looks like crap. Oregon barely got by. I think you got to downgrade Oregon based on how bad Penn State looks, because when Oregon goes into Happy Valley and barely wins in double overtime, and then Penn State goes on the road and loses to UCLA as a 25-point favorite with their stupid offensive coordinator not even calling plays half the time because he doesn't remember he's the offensive coordinator because he just got hired midweek, I think you've got to downgrade Oregon. And I think Ohio State's got the edge over Oregon right now, at least defensively. But we'll see. Again, these are very fluid. The reason I do this every week is I just want to see the highs and the lows, where my opinions change on teams throughout the year. I'm not doing this to try to act like I'm some genius that predicted the college football playoff. It's just for me to help understand the ebbs and flows of a college football season. So those are my CFP predictions after week 6.